Okay, this one is called Area of Triangles and Trapezoids. It looks like this. It says Geometry 3 Example. All right, this one. It says use the images below to describe how the rectangle and the triangle are both similar and different. It says both the rectangle, that's the first picture you see, and the triangle, second picture, have the same base, same length across, and height. They're both the same in height. However, the triangle is half the area of the rectangle. That's because if I take a rectangle and I split it in half, this is what you see for the triangle. This is also, if we flipped it over, they would be equal to each other. So a rectangle can always be cut in half to produce two equal triangles. If the formula for finding the area of a rectangle is A equals B over H, then how could you describe the formula for finding a triangle? So for a rectangle, it was A equals B times H, base times height. If you're trying to find a rectangle, because a while ago it was triangles, we're just going to divide by 2 because you have 2 triangles in the rectangle. So we're going to divide by 2. If the formula for finding the area of a rectangle is A equals BH, how can you describe the formula for finding an area of a triangle? We're dividing the rectangle by 2 to give us our area. I said divide by 2 because the triangle's been split in half, or the rectangle, it should say rectangle's been split in half. So now you have your problems formula. This is the formula you're using every single time. Formula equals A equals BH divided by 2. So put that all the way across your paper. Plug in the values. A equals base. They have their rectangle. It looks like this. Oops. So we're going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my base is going to be 5 units. Times, do my height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 units. Over 2. So area equals 5 times 7 is 35 units. There's 2 of them, so I put squared divided by 2. If I put in my calculator, 35 divided by 2, that gives me 17.5 units squared. Same thing for the next one. I'm going to have area equals base times height divided by 2. Same formula every single time. So it says plug in the values. A equals my base. It says my base on my triangle was 14 inches. That's what's going across, so I'll put 14 inches times my height says 16 inches divided by 2. Area equals, what's 14 times 16? 224 inches squared divided by 2. 224 divided by 2 is 112 inches squared. Then you're going to do the same thing for triangle 3. Base times height and then divide it by 2. Make sure you don't forget to do your inches and inches squared. Flip it over on the back. It says a trapezoid is 1 or 2 triangles and a rectangle combined. Use the formula. This time the formula is A equals half of base 1 plus base 2 times height. So base 1 and base 2, that's going to be your top base 1, base 2, or you could say base 1, base 2, it doesn't matter. And then you're going to have your height will be here. So it says B1 is the length of the first base, B2 is the length of the second base, and the height is the height of the trapezoid. You just have to draw your little imaginary line. So on the first one, it says this is 8 centimeters. This is 16 centimeters. Says my height is 6 centimeters. So I'm going to take A equals half. Base 1 is 8 centimeters plus base 2 is 16 centimeters times height is 6 centimeters. A equals half. You have to do inside the parentheses first. Remember, PEMDAS. 8 plus 16 is 24 centimeters. I didn't multiply, so it's not squared. Times 6 centimeters. And then you're going to take your 6 centimeters times your 24. 24 times 6 is 144 centimeters. This time we multiplied them, so they're squared. Then I'm going to divide it by 2. If you need to, and you need to see this, you could do it like this. It's 1 times 144 equals 144 centimeters squared. 2 times 1 is 2. 144 divided by 2 gives you 72 centimeters squared. If you don't want to draw that line, you can just see that it says 144 divided by 2. So 144 divided by 2, 72 centimeters squared. So on this, I've written it out on the side. I like this better. Someone told me to work it out like this, but I think that's more confusing. If you'll work it out on the side ones, it's a lot easier. Okay, so every time you're just going to take base 1, plug it in, base 2, plug it in, height, plug it in. Then work your problem. Do the inside the parentheses first, add them together, multiply what's inside on the outside, and then just divide it by 2. Okay, so you're going to work on assignment for Geometry 3. You can come back and look at this if you need some help. This spells out an answer, and it is, I think it's a 3-word answer. They just crammed it all together. If I can find it. Oh, there it is. Yes, it's 3 words. I just put the 3 words together. So don't get confused on that.